name is Julia, and I'm here to talk to you about prostitution. Most of us in this class would never think of utilizing or becoming a prostitute. This is probably because when you first think of a prostitute, you think it's immoral or you would get a sexually transmitted disease. If you have thought about becoming a prostitute, odds are you listed the pros and cons. A pro is being able to make quick and easy money, and a con is that being a prostitute is generally not a safe job. Prostitutes have a higher risk of becoming victims of abuse, rape, and murder due to the lack of regulations. Legalizing prostitution in the United States serves a greater benefit to society than current policy. In the United States, with the exception of certain counties in Nevada, prostitution is illegal. With legalizing prostitution, it would A, reduce harm, B, give back to society, and C, show it was made illegal based on morals. Legalizing prostitution would reduce harm in many ways. One concern over prostitution is sexually transmitted diseases. The U.S. Department of Health consistently reports that 3 to 5% of STDs come from prostitutes, while 30 to 35% of STDs come from teenagers. In order to keep the statistics low, the women can get tested weekly in order to maintain health. Another way to help reduce harm is having places like massage parlors, escort services, and brothels allow prostitution because it gives women a safe house, eliminating the need of a pimp. This allows the women to have an actual clean and safe work environment and be regulated. With the regulation of these businesses, this allows women who are abused by their clients to be able to report them to authorities rather than ignoring. A study done found that 80% of prostitutes have been sexually abused, but only 7% of them seek help, and only 4% of them report it to the police. With the regulation of prostitution, women will no longer have to accept physical abuse as simply part of the job, but rather will have the same safe working conditions that are accompanied by all legal positions. With these businesses now being allowed, they will start to contribute to society. Legalizing prostitution would help give back to society. Massage parlors, escort services, and brothels would now be paying taxes on those types of services because they would be allowed on the open menu. Now that there is a private place where prostitutes can go, this will make it more acceptable in cities since they will be out of the public eye. Jesse Winchester, former legal prostitute and political candidate, wrote in From Bordella to Ballot Box that to keep prostitutes out of the public eye is by putting places like brothels in zoned areas, which, allowing these businesses to be open, they must now pay taxes, which will help boost the local economy by generating money. Along with helping generate money for the economy, it would also be alleviating the amount used to enforce prostitution laws. In Houston, Texas, the KHOU 11 News I-Team found out that in 2009, the state held over 300 female prostitutes as a total estimated to taxpayers nearly $8 million a year. This money was spent on housing hundreds of them in Texas prisons and Harris County jails. With legalization, prostitution, it will no longer be a tax burden on communities, but rather a financial contributor. In addition, it would allow the police to focus more on capturing the real criminals, like child rapists and murderers, than putting away prostitutes. If prostitution was legalized in the very beginning, more criminals would be in jail than prostitutes. Finally, legalizing prostitution would show that it was only made illegal due to morals. Law should have a more beneficial impact on society rather than harm. What good does it to make something illegal if it does not have anything to do with curb the behavior and become a great financial burden on law-abiding citizens? Many will have moral objections to prostitution, but laws are not simply in place to regulate morality. If we are to continue to regulate morality, we will be subject to the morals of whomever is in power. If you have a moral objection, you are well within your rights to attempt to persuade those who disagree. However, who are you to tell two consenting adults who are harming no one what they can or cannot do in private? All in all, legalizing prostitution would reduce physical harm, relieve taxpayers, contribute tax money, and allow cops to spend time on capturing the real criminals rather than prostitutes. Prostitutes do not hurt anyone as opposed to a murder, and it would regulate the spread of STDs. I hope you can see that without legalizing prostitution, more harm is being caused than good. Prostitutes, the clients, and society can all be protected if prostitution is legalized. Thank you.
Okay, you state the claim pretty clearly. Let me see. I think you do need, I should say the claim was a clear claim of fact. I didn't think at first it was as clear as it needed to be that that was in fact your proposition, and you might want to highlight it a little bit more. The secondary points that you lay out, I think you did signpost them, but they don't really sound like claims at first. They just sound like talking points. Now, when you get to the body of the speech, I thought you were a little bit better, and they actually turned into more declarative sentences. So that was an improvement in the body of the speech. The evidence that you provide, you depend on a lot of hypotheticals to illustrate points. The statistical information is mostly on things like STDs or assaults that are taking place. On the STDs, there's not much demonstration that any legalization of prostitution would reduce STDs. It's we just have that hypothetical. They could do this, they might do that, and I would think if you had some comparative data, this argument would be stronger. For instance, places where they do have legalized prostitution, do they have fewer STDs as a consequence? You also seem to minimize the importance of that argument by suggesting that they're not really the main source of the problem in the first place. So why is it so important to legalize it so they can get STD checks if they're not that big a part of the problem anyway? That doesn't make a lot of sense. The issue about them being abused or having some problem with their clients, I thought that you had some good data that talked about the number of people who are abused. Again, the reason why they don't go and get assistance, I think, needed a little bit more development. It seemed to be suggested that they wouldn't get a cooperative hearing from the police, but that's a presupposition. I didn't hear any information that said that that's the reason why they didn't do that. The whole third point is a value argument and doesn't really belong in this assignment. On the presentation, I think the pace is a little bit quick, but you had very good audience contact. All right, thank you.